It's now 50 years of Catholic Relief Services physical presence and its accompanying services to the poor and the needy in Rwanda. CRS Rwanda on December 17, 2010, launched a one-year-long celebration to highlight on its achievements in Rwanda over the past half-century.
Yes, well, I think we have a number of objectives for our celebration. As you can imagine, 50 years is a long time to be here in Rwanda, and so the objectives that we have are, first of all, to reflect on our achievements and our presence here over the last 50 years, and also to trace the changes in how we operate here in Rwanda over these 50 years. I think a big part of our objective is to also celebrate and thank the many stakeholders and partners that we have been working with over these past 50 years. And then I think we also obviously need to look at our presence here today and look ahead to the future and try to start to reflect on our plan for the future.
CRS began operations in Rwanda before 1960, providing humanitarian assistance from neighboring countries until it established an office in 1960.
Our work in the late 50s and the early 60s was all around emergencies and humanitarian aid. There was a focus on support for refugees. There were a lot of refugees and internally displaced that needed support. We provided support to them. We also started on nutrition projects and reconstruction for those who are resettling. We started also support to institutions like schools, like hospitals, clinics, and non-formal education centers. In the 1970s, we moved into other areas. We continued with some of them, and we moved into agriculture. We were involved in constructing grain silos, for example, to help with storage problems for agriculture. Developed mother-child health programs, nutrition activities continued, and we started getting into economic activities for women in the 1970s. In the 1980s, there were refugees from Uganda here. We continued our support to them, food aid, blankets, shelter, transport, all this type of aid for Ugandan refugees. In the 90s, we continued in some of these areas, again, for agriculture. And then, of course, the 1990s was overshadowed by what happened in 1994, the genocide here in Rwanda. And we went back into our emergency mode during that time and provided emergency assistance here in the country. When the genocide ended, we started working on construction of houses for the displaced. And we supported institutions once again, as we had in previous decades. We supported schools, we supported institutions caring for orphans, those caring for street children, the elderly, and the handicapped. It was in the late 1990s that we started really focusing on peace building here in Rwanda. We also, in that decade, started getting into microfinance activities. And I would also say that in the 1990s, we supported the Catholic Church in establishing justice and peace commissions all over the country and at the national level as well, to promote reconciliation, to educate on human rights, and also to encourage participation in gacaca processes. In this past decade, we have focused on livelihoods, agriculture, microfinance, watershed management. Capacity building of partners has been a big area of focus for us over the last 10 years.
CRS Livelihood Unit is made up of a number of projects. One of them is the Great Lakes Cassava Initiative.
In GLCI and Great Lakes Cassava Initiative, we are dealing with cassava production as well as fighting against the cassava diseases like cassava mosaic disease and cassava brown strike disease.
Imyumbati mwaduhaye nyine ifite umusaruro uruti wiyambere no ku buryo umuntu yagiye ashikura ikigombo kimwe ukagisangaho nk'imyumbati igeze muri 6-7 ariko ibyo twateraga hano wagishikuraga ugasanga gifite imyumbati nk'ibiri gusa cyangwa umwe.
Kuba tuyitera ndwara yarwaye twashishikaye kuyikorera tumaze kuyikorera n'ibya umusaruro kurusha iyambere.
Among CRS's project is orphans and vulnerable children OVC. The primary goal being to improve the quality of life for orphans and vulnerable children. CRS Rwanda therefore created the vacation training programs to meet their needs that included training in carpentry, basket weaving, hairdressing, tailoring, tie-dye, driving, mechanics, and hotel management.
In total, we supported about 12,000 children for 6 years.
Jean is one of the orphans who benefited from the CRS's OVC program. Like many other orphans, she was trained in tailoring and was given a sewing machine to help her start the business.
My parents were still living when I started school, but they were very poor. They both died at a tender age when I was in primary too. But I've managed to continue with primary school. I used to travel on foot to school every day. I also went without lunch since there was nobody to cook at home. I had to quit school after my primary education since I did not attain the pass mark needed in the national examination. So I started working and cultivating in a small field plot.
We started in this decade support for those who are affected and infected with HIV through care and treatment programs, through prevention programs.
CRS Rwanda, through AIDS Relief Project, has worked with the consortium members and other partners, including Caritas Rwanda and the Ministry of Health, to provide comprehensive care to the people living with HIV/AIDS. The program's goal is to ensure that people living with HIV/AIDS have access to ART and high-quality medical care. AIDS Relief has provided fundings, modern tools, technical support and capacity building to clinical and community-based staff of local partner treatment facilities and national government health institutions to provide high-quality ART services to people living with HIV/AIDS in Burera and Nyamasheke districts.
Uko hari ibikoresho bitandukanye baduhaye bya laboratoire n'abakozi baduhembera abaforomo abaganga n'abandi, ibyo kandi bikaba binakorerwa mu centre de santé 10 akorana n'ibitaro bya Kibogora.
So that brings us to today, 2011, and we're really active in all of the sectors: agriculture, education, nutrition, microfinance, HIV, peace building and reconciliation. Well, at the moment, CRS is active in all districts in Rwanda. We have nationwide coverage. Obviously, we don't have the same programs in every single district. We try to target according to the biggest needs. CRS works with partners, and our partners are our operational arms, if you like. And so we work closely with our partners on designing and implementing and monitoring our projects. Catholic Relief Services is a Catholic agency, and thus we have a special relationship with the Catholic Church. We came into Rwanda at the invitation of the Catholic Church. And so over the years we've worked very closely together with the Catholic Church in many different areas. So we work very closely with the government of Rwanda in everything that we do. We also work with other national NGOs, with international NGOs. So we work with quite a variety of partners. We also have worked with other religious groups, not just Catholic groups, but also Protestant groups and interfaith initiatives we've always tried to be a part of. I think the one thing that I can say is that no, I would hope that we are not going to be in Rwanda in another 50 years. I hope that that Rwandans themselves, through their civil society, through the government, through private enterprise, will be able to improve the quality of lives of their people without any support from external organizations. Come and join us in our celebration of these 50 years. It's a privilege for CRS to serve here in Rwanda. It's a privilege for us to be a part of the amazing things that are happening in this country right now. And we are looking forward to our future collaboration with the church, with the government of Rwanda, with our beneficiaries. I think we all have the same goal, and that is improvement in the lives of the most vulnerable, so that all of Rwandan society is successful.